Alright everyone, we're going to be doing Earthlings Pet Answers number 9. If you're new to these videos, all you gotta do is leave a comment on this video, and in the next video I will answer your question live here on camera. So it's a simple way to get kind of like a little shout out and your question answered by voice rather than via comment. So we're going to go back to the previous video and go ahead and start answering these comments. The videos sometimes take a while, so I'm going to try to just go through and get through all the questions here. We had a question actually 2 videos ago. Someone left a comment I noticed. So I'm going to go back 2 videos ago to number 7, and there was a couple comments here that I didn't answer in the last one. So we're going to start with Z Hip Stop, and they asked, why does my Hedgehog poop when I have him out of the cage? It's actually pretty common with a lot of different types of animals. It happens with rats, hamsters, lots of rodents, lots of small animals. Usually as a nervous response. I had a rat, or actually it was a hamster, it was a big black hamster. And that hamster would poop all the time when you took her out. But after about a month of owning her, she stopped doing it altogether. So it's usually a nervous thing or just kind of like a scared reaction. But it should slow down in time once they get more used to you. Ultimate Carno asked, what do I do when my bunny or cat give birth because they are really weak at giving birth? Not sure exactly what that means. You ask about a bunny and a cat. I don't know if one of them is pregnant now and giving birth, but if you're worried about it, go to a vet. But I don't think there's usually a problem with cats or bunnies giving birth, so I don't really know what insight I can give there other than bring it to a vet if you think something's wrong. And sorry, this is the last question. Same person's asking this. If my hedgehog is sick and or puking on its spikes quills, what do I do? You might be confusing that. Hedgehogs do something called annotating, or I might have said that wrong. It's not annotating, it's anointing. They do something called anointing where they kind of lick their quills on their back. It looks really funny. I got a couple videos on it. That's actually normal. So if your hedgehog kind of like twists backwards all funny and starts licking its back, it's a normal behavior. There's lots of different kind of guesses on why they do this, but it's nothing to worry about. So yeah, if your hedgehog does a weird thing and starts licking its back, it's a normal thing hedgehogs do. Alright, now we're going to go to the Pet Answers number 8. This is number 9 that I'm filming right now. We're going to start at the bottom, and we have Dat Guy 692. How many animals do you have? He asks. Geez, if I count all my fish and stuff, it's hard to really give an exact number, and the pets I have sometimes go up or down. Let's just say a couple dozen probably. A good amount, but it's hard to count them and know exactly, especially with the fish and all. Ultimate Vapor 918 asks, let's see some flight videos. I missed those. I do need to get some more RC videos up, so I'll try to do that. It's winter now, so I'm not going to be doing big outdoor RCs, but I might be getting some micro stuff still this winter, so I'll try to get some more of those going. Jig XAW asks, can you make a video about a do-it-yourself turtle dock? That actually might be a good video, and people often don't have proper turtle docks in their tanks, so I'll actually try to think about that, and maybe I will do a video about turtle docks, maybe how to make one yourself. I'll try to do that maybe in the future here. Maddie Rabe asks, any tips on getting a very stubborn beardie to eat her vegetables? We have a 32-gallon aquarium which has been established for 2.5 months. We are now finding the tank is getting cloudy. All levels are stable. Ammonia nitrate pH. What do you recommend to decrease the cloudiness? You know, I've had cloudy tanks like years ago, but not recently. I forget exactly what was causing them when I had it. It could be a few things, but the fact that your nitrate, nitrite, pH, and ammonia levels are all low is good. It might just be the filter you have might not be doing enough mechanical filtration, which would be an indication of why your chemical levels are good, but it still doesn't look great. So look into what filter you have. Maybe the filter you have just isn't mechanically filtering enough out. You might want to try a different filter. Also, sometimes if you put driftwood and things like that in your tank, they can make them cloudy. So I don't know if you have driftwood in there. Sometimes those will cause water to be cloudy for a while. As for the bearded dragon, lots of young dragons don't eat very much vegetables at all. As they age, they eat more and more. So you should keep offer different type collard greens, mustard greens, kale, some lettuce types. Keep offering a variety, but if your bearded dragon is pretty young, it's going to mostly just eat insects, so it's not anything to worry about for now. Just keep offering them, and as it ages, it should start eating more and more. Sparklinger asked, my cockatiel sleeps downstairs with no one. Would it be better if he slept in my room? Not really. Birds usually it's recommended to cover them at night, so they're going to be closed off in their cage anyways, whether they're in your room or not. I do recommend cover your birds at night. It helps them sleep. They don't get scared. Some birds can have night frights and flap around and actually hurt themselves in their cage. So it really doesn't matter what room they're in. As long as they're in a quiet place, cover their cage, it should be just fine. Alright, let's see. We got a few responses here. The project has not been canceled asks, I have 2 ferrets and 1 chinchilla. The ferrets live in one cage and the chinchilla lives in another. Do you think I could put both my ferrets and my chinchilla in one huge cage? The ferrets get along good with the chinchilla. Thanks for asking my question in part 8. No problem, I don't know what your question was in part 8. It was a while ago, but I'm glad I answered it. As for putting them together, it's great if they play together. I've never owned a chinchilla, so I don't know all that much about them, but I can pretty much guarantee that it's not good to put 2 different species like that all in the same cage. I think you should continue to keep the ferrets together and the chinchilla separate. You want to let them play when they're out of their cage and they get along good, that's great. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't put them in one big cage together. Jeff Fatakit, F-T-A-C-E-K. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, but it's a weird spelling there. Is it easy to care for a baby bearded dragon? I'm thinking of getting one. Yes and no. Once the cage is set up properly, proper UV, proper basking area, temperature, big enough cage, they're not that hard to care for. The only thing is they do require insects basically daily. So they're an animal that you do have to have live food for quite often. So it's not like a cat or a hedgehog or something where you could have a bag of cat food and you could just, grab a handful of cat food and throw it in the cage whenever they need food in the cage. You'll have to be getting insects often and stuff like that. So are they easy to care for? Mostly. Mine's not hard to care for. Like I said, once your cage is set up, you just have to know you're going to have to be getting insects a lot. And then as they get older, you're going to have to be getting vegetables a lot. So, vegetables only last so long they go bad. So you're going to have to be getting vegetables and food for them quite often. But other than needing food for them, they're really not that hard. Nicole Bezanson has a question here that says, how's your hedgehog doing and your new cat? I love your videos. I'm getting a hedgehog on Tuesday. Well, thank you about the good comment about my videos. And as for the hedgehog and cat, how's your hedgehogs doing? My hedgehogs are doing great, and the new cat's doing awesome. I've been putting up videos here and there of the cats. You've probably seen some more since your comment, which was about a month ago. But the cat's doing awesome. The 2 cats are getting along mostly. The little kitten likes to bug my older cat and try to play too much, and my older cat's just like, get away. But they get along good. They lay right next to each other. Well, not on top of each other, but a foot away from each other, and they get along good. I am illegal too asks, would you ever do a video on axolotls? I had one in the past. I didn't do a specific video on them, but they are really cool creatures. If I get one again, I'll definitely do a video on it. Kevin Keen? Interested to hear your thoughts on FAA registration ruling. Do you think it's justified or just a ploy to get money from hobbyists? Will you be registering or waiting for AMA's response? It's all political stuff. I don't really get into political stuff myself. I think that everything's overregulated today, but it's also partially because of the idiots out there that didn't know how to fly in the first place, and they go get quadcopters and they fly them around buildings and cities, or they fly them over people. So it's happening because of the idiots out there that, we're flying like jerks basically. My thoughts on it are just, we'll see what happens. It depends. Whatever happens, happens. We can't really do much other than, sign some petitions here and there or whatever. But, yeah, all that political stuff and regulations is just kind of nonsense to me. Jamie Kavanagh, K-A-V-A-N-H-E-H. Thanks for answering my question, dude. You rock. Well, no problem. Didn't ask another question this time, but just that in there, so awesome. Dog Soldier asks, I have bought a hedgehog and I want to know how to get him to like me so I can hold him in my hand so he doesn't roll into a ball. Without getting too much into this, I've talked about this many times. It's always best to buy pets that are nice when you buy them. Don't just buy a pet in a store and think you're going to, have a great pet when it's not great to begin with. All the hedgehogs I sold were nice and perfectly calm and tame when I sold them. But lots of breeders try to make money and they try to sell them quick and they don't really handle them enough. That's not to say that you can't make this hedgehog tame and nice. It's just kind of a, let's see, kind of having a mind blank here. A suggestion to everyone, if you're going to buy a pet, handle it first, make sure it's nice before you buy it. But the hedgehog, I have a few videos. If you search my channel for like handling hedgehogs, you'll get a few videos that I've done on how to kind of get handling with a mean or angry hedgehog, get them tame. Basically, it's a lot of time and patience. Take them out multiple times a day, try to give them treats out of the cage. It could take weeks or even months, but he should come around in time as long as you just keep handling daily. Why reptiles are cool? Asked, do you still have your sand boas? I do. I should make a video. I just was feeding them a couple days ago. I'll probably make another video on the sand boas sometime soon, but yeah, I still have them. They're in the boaphile reptile rack, which is a really kick-ass rack. It's called the rhino racks. But yeah, had that rack for a long time, and those snakes have been in there the whole time, and they're doing good. Nicholas Fanachero, another how many pets do you have? Kind of answered that earlier. It's kind of hard to say exactly. Freya Bloomfield asks, I have a cat. He's called Logan after Wolverine. Well, cool. You got a shout out and everyone knows your cat's name, so there you go. KZ, it looks like, has 2 questions here. And what's the best way to go about feeding a turtle? My guy's 2-inch eastern painted turtle, and I'm feeding him 5 Reptimen sticks a day and maybe a bloodworm or 2 in the afternoon. Is that good? Yeah, that's all you need for turtles. Basically, they could live their whole life on turtle pellets and Reptimen sticks and stuff like that, but it's good that you're offering some bloodworms and some other things. Lots of people overfeed fish, turtles, newts, everything. So it sounds like you're doing okay. Just 5 sticks a day doesn't sound like too much. Yeah, you should be fine with about that much. As they get older, of course, increase it slightly, but it sounds like what you're doing is just fine. And then KZ also asks, I'm curious, what is your favorite pet besides a cat or a dog? And it's good you said beside a cat or a dog, because honestly, cats and dogs are the ones that you're going to get the most interaction with. Probably say cats are my favorite pet overall. But other than that, for reptiles, I'd say for lizards, I'd say bearded dragons, they're the most interactive. Snakes, they're lots of them, they're pretty much all the same to me, bigger or smaller if you get a nice or mean one. So snakes are pretty much all the same. I really like Brazilian short-tailed opossums. Don't have any anymore. I've had them in the past a lot. I have videos on them. But they are really, really cool pets. It's like a extremely smart and bonding little animal. It's not a rodent, they're marsupials, but they're really cool. I'd say Brazilian short-tailed opossums are up there. Manny Alcantara. I have a pit bull and a chihuahua. The pit bull is aggressive to other dogs, but not my chihuahua because they've known each other since puppies. But when I took my pit bull to the vet recently, he wanted to attack a dog across the room, but not the one right next to him. My only theory is it could have been the dog across the room, could have been male, and the next one could have been female. Could it have been male-to-male aggression? I'm asking because I'm interested in getting another puppy, most likely a female, so I don't want my pit bull to be aggressive to a new pup. The chihuahua is a male. It could be anything that caused that. The dogs could have looked at each other and just wanted to show dominance, so they started, barking and trying to get at each other. As for getting a new puppy, a female, you'll probably be okay. Now, the first 2 you said grew up since babies together, so that's how they're so nice to each other. But I've found that most of the time, if I bring a pet into my home and my cats and dogs understand it's my pet and it's like now part of the family, they'll usually, understand that and not try to attack it. So introduce them very slowly. Don't just like throw your little new dog in with your pit bull and hope it doesn't get bitten. Don't just do that right away. But handle the little dog around the pit bull. Let it know that you're handling it and that it's your dog. And you should be alright. Just introduce them slowly. Frickin' Freak 1. Hi Earthling, I love your videos. They are very helpful, but I got a question. Is it better to get a young hedgehog to get the full experience like I want to do, or get an adult one? I'd say with any pet, it's always better to get them as a young pet so that they grow up and know you their whole life. That's not to say it's bad to get an older pet. If you know someone that has to get rid of a pet and they have a nice pet that they just can't take care of, sure, it's okay to take that too. But overall, I'd say it's always better to get a pet younger so that you can kind of raise it its whole life. Mackenzie Yum Yum Critters Pass asks, can you give me some advice on my short-tailed opossum? When I go to pick him up, he is fine and never hisses him or bites, but when he is in my hand, he poops all over the place. I'm thinking that is because I usually pick him up when he was just woken up. What do you think? I kind of talked about this earlier. It's probably just scared, and in time he'll get used to you and it'll happen less, but it's a nervous reaction with lots of small animals, as I was kind of talking about earlier in this video. So just keep handling him and it should happen less and less over time. Trip Sinclair asks, I set up a cricket breeding bin. The thing is in the damp soil. It's a mix of peat, sand, and vermiculite. I noticed like 5 or 6 tiny maggots. Crickets are always digging in the tub as well. Also, I see the females laying eggs, but never seen the eggs as described. Is the game over for the breeding tub? Should I chuck it and start again? I believe when I was breeding crickets that it only takes a week or 2 for them to hatch, and you might want to put a small heat light on the cage. They'll hatch quicker and do better if they're, I think it was like around 80 or so degrees. It's been a few years since I bred crickets. But if it hasn't been 2 weeks, I'd say don't throw it out yet. You got some time. Not sure what those maggots are in there or how they got there, but I'd still give it a, wait till at least 2 weeks after you put the adult crickets in there. I never used the peat and sand and vermiculite. I just used kind of a soil mixture. So you might want to try a different substrate for the egg laying, but it sounds like you're doing it right. I'd just give it some time and maybe start over with a different substrate if nothing happens within 2 weeks of putting the adults in. Hedgehog Lover 3, I have a complicated question. I've wanted a hedgehog for a while and I'm saving up for one, but there are nearly no breeders and I don't want to buy one online. There's, however, a pet store that sells hedgehogs near me. Should I get one from there? I've held some before and most are really tame and don't curl up. Yeah, there's no problem with buying a hedgehog from a pet store because unlike some animals that people say not to buy from a pet store, like ferrets, people say, some snakes and other things people say because they're bred in like kind of like puppy mills or animal breeding mills. Those type of animals we want to be careful of, but hedgehogs, there's not really big breeding mills out there. When I had hedgehogs, I even sold some of my hedgehogs to pet shops years ago when I was having lots of baby hedgehogs. So some of my hedgehogs ended up at a pet shop and some people bought my hedgehogs from there. So it's not bad. If those hedgehogs are calm and tame and easy to handle, I'd say, yeah, go ahead and buy it from the pet shop. Nothing wrong with that. Shing Quanghai asks, I need help with my kitten Tiger. I don't know, first I thought he had a tiger, the name is Tiger. I don't know his cat breed and how big do cat get. My kitten is only 7 months and he looks like a foul grown cat, but he's only 7 months. There's really no way, especially without pictures or anything like that, for me to know what type of cat you have. But cats can take, I think, up to a couple years to fully grow. So if he's big now, he'll probably get bigger. But there's no way for me to really answer that or know what type of breed he is. Mr. B Guy 98, do you prefer male cats or female cats? I don't think it really matters too much. I think either sex can have all different types of personalities. I have a male cat, but he's a kitten. And he's kind of more rambunctious, but he's a kitten still. And then I have a female cat who's kind of more chill. But as far as the cat experience that I have, I really couldn't pick one over the other. Mr. Make Cream 3? Mr. I Make Cream 3, okay. Hey, do you give your hedgehogs a dust bath, and would you recommend it to a new hedgehog owner? By the way, you're awesome. Dust baths. That's for chinchillas. I know I've never owned a chinchilla, but I've never given a hedgehog a dust bath, and I've owned a lot of hedgehogs. I don't think it's something that you would ever need to or want to do with a hedgehog. I'd skip that. Mia asked, any advice on prairie dogs? Where to get healthy babies? Housing? I love your collection. I was actually looking at prairie dogs, I think, not too long ago. It was at an animal expo. They're pretty cool looking little guys. But I really don't know that much about them. We were looking at them, and if I was ever going to get one, I'd research them a lot, but I really don't have that much information on prairie dogs. The Hunter 26, can you do a turtle update and how's Grampy? I'll do a turtle update soon. That sounds like a good idea, and Grampy's doing great. I think I did a video on him a few months ago, but it's been a while. But yeah, I'll try to do an update on the turtles so you guys can all see the turtles again soon. Big Bertha, do short-tailed opossums make good pets? I think we already talked about that, and I also mentioned they're kind of maybe one of my favorite little animals. So yes, they do. They're pretty awesome pets. Omar Alcantara, I have a question. What exercises do you make your dog do? Well, my dog, I'll often have him go up and down. He's little runs around the house, and actually I can kind of run around the house and he'll kind of run away from me, so we kind of play chase sometimes. And also I'll say up and down. I'll be like up and he'll jump up on the couch or the bed, down he'll jump down, and I can do this back and forth and really tire him out. And basically once he can't get up on the bed anymore because he's so tired, then I'll stop, and then he'll lay down sometime soon and take a nap. So do stuff like that, chase him around the house, and he'll chase me, or up, down, and the up, down's real nice because I don't have to do anything. I can just sit there and say up, down, here's a treat, and he'll run around and get a lot of energy out. Dusty Hard Money, how did you come up with the name for the new kitten? We were thinking about a lot of names, and then we just decided on the Dread Pirate Roberts, and we figured we could call him Dread, we could call him Pirate, we can call him Wesley, but pretty much we call him Dread. But it was just kind of talking out names, and that's kind of what was decided on. We figured that was a name that we could use a few different names, so if we weren't happy with one name, we had a couple more options, but we pretty much stick to Dread now. And then Raina White, the last comment, says thank you. I must have maybe answered your question last time or something, but you're welcome. And that's it for this time. If you want your question answered on camera here, leave a comment below, and in the next video I will get to it. Other than that, happy pet keeping, everyone. See y'all later.